how much can your leg rotate outward while you're still balancing? And then we'll return to mountain when you're done. Reset once more. Standing weight to the left leg again, but this time let's externally rotate and internally rotate the right hip. And you might notice how the body kind of responds as it has to deal with a change, a shift in center. We'll meet back at mountain when you're done with your 4. Go ahead, release anything in the left leg, left side of the body. Front, side kick before you cross the midline. And not big movements, just enough to explore, to unactivate those muscles that are still activated. Let's go ahead and return to mountain. Nice and tall once more. This time we're standing weight on the right side, right leg. Lifting the sole of the left foot, finding that balance, and then internal to external rotation. If you find you have lots of mobility there, go ahead and make them nice and wide, sweeping movements. If you're a little more fragile, just get some lubrication in there. And then let the left foot land. Inhaling once more, nice and tall. Standing right leg, center of gravity. And then an external to an internal rotation. And then we'll meet back in mountain and kicking out any residual tension in the right side of the body, right leg. Before you cross the midline. And then we'll return to our mountain, standing a little taller as we're moving up to the body. We're going to start with the shoulder rolls and give yourself a moment here to notice how your shoulders are feeling. Putting the hands on the hips and then letting the hands slide down, trying to eventually stack everything underneath the shoulders evenly. So notice if your shoulders are pitched forward or back. Coming into our mountain, inhale nice and tall. And let the shoulders lift up. And then exhale to roll them back and down. Pull in the belly button at the bottom of the exhale. And it's a total of 4. Inhaling, the shoulders go up. Exhaling, they just roll back and kind of melt down. Tucking in the wingtips if you can. Really use that good deep ocean breath. We'll repeat the cycle, but this time inhaling upwards, we're going to exhale the shoulders forward and down. Still tucking in the shoulder blades against the back. And when we're done there, we'll move on up to the neck. And at any time while we're resetting, you can always lift the feet if you find yourself gripping the mat a little more than you usually do. Palms facing forward. Let's inhale tall in our mountain. Exhale, allow the right ear to dip towards the right shoulder. Inhaling to lift the chest. Exhaling to turn the gaze. Allow the eyes with each passing exhale to relax a little more towards the right of your sight line. Soft gaze. And a total of 4 breath cycles. And with the last exhale, we'll go ahead and inhale the eyes, the gaze, the head completely back up to center, and then exhale over to the other side. Inhaling to lift the chest, exhaling to turn the gaze. Give yourself a lot of space here. We don't want to rest the ear on the shoulder. Just enough to give some length to the right side of your neck that you're lengthening. And at the last exhale, see if you can just release even through the eyes to the leftmost of your vision. Then inhale the eyes, the gaze, the head completely back up. So all you have to do is let the eyes roll downward on the exhale and stop somewhere about 6 feet in front of you. Keep the chin off of the chest. We want about a small tennis ball, maybe golf ball size space, but a good space between the chin and the chest. Palms facing forward. And that deep ocean breath helping to bring energy to the back of the neck and length on the exhale, facilitated by the Ujjayi breath. And after that very last exhale, let's go ahead and bring the eyes back up with the inhale towards the ceiling. And when you can see it, go ahead and stop craning the neck. We'll use the next few breaths to just give our open mouth, open space, hopefully at the front of the throat, through the jaws. And even looking upwards, the eyes, just giving it a nice, relaxed look. And after your very last exhale, we'll just bring the eyes back down to the midpoint. And then give yourself any last minute shake, deactivate anything that's still on. And we'll start our modified sun salutations, beginning with our first folds. So in our mountain, sorry, it's a little more cushiony than I'm used to, but here we go. So standing nice and tall, let's go ahead and start energizing, reaching down towards the mat with our fingers. Then with that reach still there, we're going to inhale, extend the arms above our head, lifting all the way up at the top of the inhale. Engage the core, firm up the back, the arms, hinge at the hips, and fold forward. You can bend the knees if you need. You can walk the hands down, but give yourself some time to just unfold. Once we're here, it's our first fold. That's kind of lengthy, like a rag doll. So give yourself some time. If you notice your legs are very tight in the back, give yourself a deeper bend. You can bend one knee and then the other. See if that helps you to release through the back of the legs. Just small exploratory movements. You might just even be shifting at the hips. Notice how the roll at the sole of the feet affects the center of gravity. You want to feel the center of gravity somewhere at the top of the ankles, closer towards the heels. And as long as you have that hip to heel center of gravity, we're focused then on releasing from the tailbone, down the spine, down the neck, such that the crown of the head, see if instead of being at an angle, can eventually drop down further. See if you can release through the head. If you need to bring the forearms to the thighs for a little extra added support, do so. Engage the core. Giving ourselves a full 5 deep breath cycles here. We've probably already gone through about 3. You can always just gently shake the head no. Gently nod the head yes. And then see if you can release. Let those arms be as relaxed as noodles. And then we're going to do a slow roll out. Start to engage the core with the next inhale. We're pressing into the feet, firming the legs, slowly unfurling the spine, one vertebra at a time. You can always walk the hands up. And as the head is the last thing to stack on top of the neck, you can go ahead and roll the shoulders back, palms facing forward. Give yourself a moment to let the blood rush back to the head. Let's go ahead and fold one more time, energizing the arms downwards. You can actually lift up the arms if you need to, or just start to energize fingers towards the floor, and then extend the arms with the inhale. Engaging the core, let's hinge at the hips. Come on down for a second fold. Walk the hands down if you need, or float on down. And it's only about 3 breath cycles here this time. A little less time, but you can still bend one knee, bend the other.
You can try to release through the back, through the neck. And then we'll do one more return to mountain. You can do the slow roll up, or with the next inhale, engaging the core. Come on up with a strong inhale, straight back. And then hands down, heart center in prayer. Relax the shoulders, relax the elbows at the side. Inhale, press into the palms, engage the core, lift the right foot. Exhale the foot down. Inhale the left foot up. Exhale the heel, ball of foot, toes down. Inhale, right foot. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And at the top of the mat, we'll look down at the fingertips, pressing into the palms, inhaling, and then separating the palms. Let's exhale to fold. Fully exhaled at the bottom of the fold. Let's inhale for a half lift. In just a moment here to feel that half lift. The back can be at a 90-degree angle. Maybe it's more at a 45, but we're finding hopefully length at the back of the neck, at the back, all the way down to the tailbone. And if you have to, keep a deep bend. You can always do that until you're ready. One more inhale. And then exhale, fold. Place the hands at either side of the feet and step the right foot and then the left foot back. We'll go ahead and inhale, bring the shoulders over the wrists and bring the knees down. Shins, tops of the feet. Shins and top of the feet, giving you more of the support so you don't have to injure your knees. And we're finding if you're a little forward past the wrists, go ahead and lift the knees an inch a little further back. Give yourself that nice wide space between the shoulders, as well as the shoulders away from the ears. Engaging the core, bringing the belly button to the spine. Let's go ahead and inhale, tuck the toes, lift up the hips, and push back with the exhale for our first down dog. Notice where your feet are. Mine were a little narrower. You want them about hips distance apart. And if your dog is really stable, you can always even pigeon toe slightly, the toes inward. The heels do not need to come down, but if that feels good to you, you may find your heels flat on the mat at some point in your practice. If not, they can be lifted. You can even have deep bends to the knees. You want that long back, the shoulders nice and wide, rotated shoulders away from the ears. One more deep inhale, one more deep exhale, and then inhale. Let's roll our eyes towards the hands and walk on the exhale, the hands to the fold, to the back of the mat. Fully exhaled here. Let's inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come on up, your choice. Slow roll up or all the way back up with a straight back. And at the top, we'll reach up, exhaling hands down, heart center. And then proceed with our second walking meditation. Inhale, hands up, or right foot up. Exhale, right foot down. Inhale, left foot. Exhale, left foot. Inhale, right foot. Exhale. Engaging the core, pressing into the palms to help maintain your balance. And at the top of the mat, let's go ahead and press into the palms. Watch the fingertips rise. Separate on the exhale, the hands, and fold. Fully exhaled. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Step the right leg. Step the left leg. Long, strong, high plank. So here, fingers are splayed. Heel to crown of the head. One long diagonal. And bring that core into engagement. Think about bringing the belly button towards the spine. And breathe. One more inhale. One more exhale. And then lift the hips on the next inhale and press back on the exhale for another down dog. Readjust as you need. We want an upside down V eventually, but you can always shorten the distance between the hands and the feet if you need. You can always bend the knees deeply, lifting the hips, straightening the back. And the ears somewhere in between the upper arms. Let's inhale, look to the hands. Exhale, walking the hands to the fold, to the back of the mat. Fully exhaled here. Inhale for half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, your choice, all the way back up to mountain. Exhaling hands, down heart center, and finally down to the side. Now hopefully that warmed you up a little bit more. It's a great time for a little bit of water. And we'll be moving into our standing pose. And today we're going to do two versions of tree. So in our regular tree, let's go ahead and just give ourselves that chance to do our first tree. So feet are about hips distance apart, standing in mountain, engaging the core, palms facing forward. Let's go ahead and bring standing weight to the left side of the body. See if you can then lift the right heel on the inhale and just externally rotate the hip, right hip. As you are coming to bring that heel to rest on the standing leg's ankle, you're noticing where your knee is pointing. For me, my hips are very tight, so I have an angle, but eventually we're hoping to open it up. And that's if it's available to you. If you have this opening at the hips and you're dealing with arthritis, any type of tightness, you want to move slowly. It's just to help you engage those muscles that keep the hips strong and mobile and hopefully a little more flexible. So once we're there, we can go ahead and bring our hands to heart center and just engaging the core here, pressing into the palms if you start to feel wobbly, and opening up at the right hip. Engaging the core for the next 3 breath cycles. You can grow out your hands or you can just stay in tree. And after your very last exhale, we'll go ahead and inhale to release the hands to the side. Internally rotate the right hip and then let the foot land. Give yourself a nice little jiggle, bounce, kick of the left side, release, and then come back to your mountain. Settling back in, inhaling, exhaling, we're bringing standing weight to the right leg. And then lifting the left heel, externally rotating the left hip and bringing the heel to rest on the right standing leg. Giving ourselves a chance to feel more stable in our foundation before we bring our hands to heart center. And once we find we're stable, bringing 3 good deep breath cycles. You can soften the gaze and focus on that long standing center of gravity from the sole of the right foot all the way up through the crown of the head. And after your very last exhale, let's go ahead and release the hands. Internally rotate the left hip and let that left foot land. Give yourself any counter stretching, deactivation of movement, wiggling. And then we're going to make our way down to the floor and do what's called fallen tree. We're going to give ourselves a chance now to have the support of the floor so we don't have to deal so much with the balance as we do when we're standing. So coming on down to the floor, to our hands and knees if we need, or just squatting. However, we're going to make it to our belly. And you can just bring one forearm down at a time, bring out the legs, and then bring the pelvis and chest at one time to kind of lower down. That's one thing you can do. If you have a preferred method of getting to the belly, please feel free. So the next thing would be to to bring the right arm out in front of you. Now, if you're having difficulty bringing the right arm up straight ahead of you, then you can always bring the arm out to the side at more of an angle. You'll need to use your left hand then to keep a little more balance. But here, we're keeping our right arm nice and long, our right leg nice and long, and we're going to roll to the side. We'll use our left hand in this kind of kickstand hand position, as well as our left foot as a sort of way of balancing. So what we can do here is bringing the left hand out in front of us. If you roll to the back, just bring a little more of your center of gravity towards the front. We're just hopefully bringing this left foot to be somewhere in front of the left shin, the right shin. If you're able to rest the left foot on your area of the calf or even the ankle, if you can bring the heel towards the upper thigh, just depends on where you're comfortable while still sort of balancing. But as you can see here, whoops, that balance and roll back, it feels very strong once you bring that left foot off of the mat. But what we're hoping for is the position of this top knee. This knee being at an angle here is okay, because that's about where it might be if you have very tight hips. But if your hips are nice and open, you might find that you're able to gently engage the left buttock and bringing the left buttock forward so you can bring less of the buttock towards the back, but just stacking on top of the other hip. And eventually what we're finding is we're in this horizontal positioning of what is usually how we're considering tree. Keeping the right foot flexed, nice and long and sharp, strong, as if you're standing on the right leg. And that should hopefully keep us a little more balanced. And you can keep the left hand wherever you need it to keep your balance. And then you can focus on opening up the left hip. Now hopefully your left foot is not pressing down on your knee. You should have either the foot at the calf, the ankle, or up higher in the fleshy part, the heel of the left foot in the fleshy part of the thigh. But you're looking at bringing that knee towards the ceiling, and that's helping you to open up the left hip. And once you've found that special spot, just breathe here for about 2 deep breath cycles, keeping the right foot flexed, the right leg long, and that whole right side of your body as your foundation. And your palm can be, your right palm can be flat on the mat, hopefully with fingers splayed to help you in your effort to balance on your right side. And when you're ready to come out, we're going to go ahead and just slide the left foot down, internally rotate the hip, and let that left foot find the mat. Let the left knee, and then we're just going to roll on the belly, bringing the right hand down, right arm down, and switching our position. We'll now move to this side. And doing the same, just finding that spot on the left side of your body where you can balance. And you can bring the right foot to where you need to bring your tree. Will the right foot land on the ankle? Will it be on the calf? Will it be on the inner thigh of the left leg? And keeping your left foot flexed as you're finding that positioning. And once more, we're trying to engage this right glute, and we're just bringing it to engagement and pressing forward so you can open up the right hip. Eventually the right knee getting closer from to the ceiling from that diagonal pitch. If it's super tight, it might be off at an angle, and then eventually we're opening up. Now if you're very open, you'd have that nice flat hip opening so that the knee and the hip is pointing towards the ceiling. But if you're tight in that area, if it's just needing some time, you can have it at that angled position until you're ready. Just breathe 2 good deep breath cycles from that point. Everything on the left side, feeling rooted, stable, as if you're standing on the left leg. And when you're ready to come down, and if you need to, slowly bring the knee forward and let the right foot down towards the leg, the left leg, and then internally rotate the hip, release the right foot, and come on back to the belly. We'll bring both hands down and bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to press into the hands and let the chest and the pelvis both at the same time come up. You're pressing into the arms, elbows close to the ribs, and then you can make your way up, walking the hands back into a tabletop position. And if you're off the mat, come on back to center. And we're just going to give ourselves a nice counter stretch here in child's pose, bringing the hips down as far as we can, and it's just for a moment, so if you don't make it all the way down, that's fine. Just find that length, and wherever your hips are, that's where they are. And then we can inhale, bring the hands closer under the shoulders, press into the shins to help lift the hips, walk the hands out again. And that was just a counter stretch. Let's go ahead and bring the knees to one side and bring the hips down to the other. We'll meet in a staff position. I'm going to face the side of the mat, but as we're making our way down here, we can now focus on more of the upper body, the limbs on the upper body and the limbs on the bottom. So giving yourself a chance to sort of sit upright, remove any flesh, rock the pelvis from side to side if you need to find that center at the sits bones. You can also take your pelvis and with your thumb and fingers kind of rock forward and back, so you can hopefully feel that forward pitching of the top of the crust of your hips there. Forward pitch that it brings the torso upwards, and it might pitch the entire torso forward, but just bring the pitch of the torso to be directly above the pelvic bowl. And just gives you a little bit of movement until you can find what feels like center to you. And then bringing the toes towards the ceiling, removing any flesh around the thighs. You can internally rotate the flesh to kind of make some space if that feels good. And then just let the feet relax. Once more, we're looking for a 90-degree angle at the hips, but then it's all a work in progress sometimes too, so just do your best. So sitting up nice and tall, gentle tuck of the chin, we're hopefully bringing the shoulders underneath the ears, not curling up the shoulders, but just letting them release down the back like in our warm-ups, nice and loose, tops of the shoulders, nice and wide. Let's go ahead and point the toes with an inhale, and then exhale, release. Let's go ahead and inhale, flex the feet, press out through the heels, maybe even the balls of the ball of the feet, and then relax. Let's inhale, let the feet drop open, and you can even do the same with the hands. And then let's bring the hands forward and the feet back together, and then just let them sort of touch. The toes will touch, the hands, internal rotation of the shoulders just slightly, while we're still maintaining an upright spine. And let the elbows be nice and relaxed. And then we'll just let them come back to center and relax. Palms can face up, and we'll go ahead and just wiggle those feet. Wiggle the toes. See if you can stretch out the toes, stretch out, splay the fingers, and just start rolling. You can roll in one direction, and if it feels right, you can see about an opposite direction.
And then go ahead and make fists, kind of clench the toes, and then release. We'll go ahead and just give them another wiggle right there, tap out the knees. And then let's go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together. You might have a nice diamond shape. You might have a very long diamond shape with the legs. It might look a little more like butterfly where your heels are closer to your groin. What we're just doing here is just an initial opening at our first butterfly, an initial opening of the hips. If you notice that your curve to the back becomes more pronounced, that's okay for now. We're just trying to open up. As we find the hip opening is there, then we can relax through the hips, through the knees, give ourselves some breathing time to find that space for the hips, knees, ankles to sort of open up and allow a little less struggle. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. Once we're here, we can identify if this is still too tight at this point, then go ahead and move the heels further away from the groin. If you're feeling like, oh wow, that was all I needed to just get a little deeper, draw the heels a little closer towards the groin. And then find that spot, hold on to the ankles, the shins. You can even hold on underneath the thighs, and then lift up through the spine, shoulders relaxed, elbows relaxed at the side. We're just trying to find an upright position, feeling energized upwards while we allow our hips to open on their own accord. Not forcing anything, we're just letting the breath guide us. If you find yourself holding your breath, you might have gone too far, too intense, then you can always back out and come in with less intensity. But if you're good where you are, we're staying for 3 to 5 breaths. All the while a soft gaze, a reconnection, if you haven't already, to the Ujjayi breath. And then go ahead and with your very last exhale, inhale, draw the knees inward, slightly bringing the soles of the feet back towards the mat. And as they find the mat, you can start sliding the legs back down into our staff position and tap out the legs. We're going to do one more resetting of our pelvic bowl, one more rocking forward and back until we can find that upright seated position once more, and maybe we find a little longer length in our torso and our spine. Here we're going to bend one knee, coming into an easy seated position. Note which leg, which shin is at the top, and as we fold in, you might have really high knees. And that's okay. Give yourself a little bit of time. If it's really high up there and you feel vulnerable and it's just kind of achy to be up there, having blocks to support the knees is definitely a great use of this prop. And this sometimes just helps while you're transitioning, while your body is opening up. Sometimes it's just that you need gravity to help you. Sometimes you need props. You can choose depending on how you're feeling. And once you've found that you're in your sweet spot, we're just going to give a nice deep inhale, start to bring the chest upwards, feel that spine from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head, as if it's one long string bringing you upright. And with that energy still upwards, we're going to exhale and just turn the torso as one unit with the shoulders towards the right until you stop. Now, for some of us, you may only go half an inch, maybe a fraction, until the torso naturally finds its edge, its boundary. For some of us, it might be a little further. Just depends on where you are. But give yourself at least the 3 breath cycles to find that right side. And once you're there, notice if your shoulders are lifted, try to relax the shoulders. The center of the chest should be somewhere in that direction towards the right. Maybe it's at the right thigh, Maybe it's past the right thigh. But you just want to use your natural boundary. We're not forcing anything. Keeping that belly button drawn to the core, to the belly. And then when we inhale, as we're energizing upwards, we're going to exhale all the way to the other side until we stop. And then just let the shoulders, let everything relax where it is. Still keep that energy needed to stay uplifted, but if you don't have to lift the shoulders, let them relax. If your right arm feels good with the back of the hand against the left thigh, do whatever it takes for you to feel release in a gentle twist to this left side. And a total of 3 to 5 breaths once we found that sweet spot. Done with our very last exhale. We're inhaling, feeling that length all the way from the tailbone to the crown of the head. And then we're going to exhale back to center and return to our easy seated position. You can go ahead and lean back, bring the knees up, and then switch the position of your top leg with the bottom leg. Keeping the feet slightly flexed, but we don't want to rest anything on the ankles if we can. And you can notice how your knees feel with this repositioning of the legs. And as you're finding that lifting energy, we don't want to collapse into our easy seated position. We want to keep lifted and energized upwards and feeling our sits bones becoming a little more rooted to the floor. Making any adjustments if you find pinches or folds. So here, let's go ahead and move any props out of the way. We'll give ourselves a little more of a limb stretch at our shoulders. We're going to inhale, palms up, and just extend those arms out to the side. Your pinky fingers, hopefully on the forward, on the left side, on this edge here. So your pinkies are nice and level, your arms are flat, but if you have to angle them out, you can work towards flattening them out, rotating them out. Let's go ahead and bring the elbows in, let the palms rest up, facing upward, right in the lap of your, right in the lap. And then we'll do that one more time. Inhale, extend out through the arms, lifting up through the chest. Engage, bringing the belly button in towards the spine, engaging the core, fully exhaled here. And then once more, we can bring and draw in the arms and let them rest. This time, palm side down. Let there be lots of space at the tops of the shoulder. Giving yourself a breath to reset here. Let's bring our palms now to the sides of our hips. We're just going to press gently. You don't have to have too severe of a fold at the wrist. If you can just do the fingertips, do the fingertips. If you can flatten out through the heel of your palms, that's great too. We're just using whatever contact with our palms at the side of our hip here, the palms down on the floor so we can lengthen through the arms. Shoulders are nice and wide. We're not hunching the shoulders up towards the ears. We're keeping them nice and down, but lengthening so we can feel the back of our neck lengthening up and down. So we're from the neck base lifting up, and we're rooting down here. So we're finding this energy both down towards the earth as well as up through towards the sky. And with the shoulders, they're moving away from the spine at this horizontal axis. And all the while, the contact of the palms down on the floor to help us keep our shoulders rotated externally and at our side. Breathe here, 2 deep breath cycles. turn, we can bend our elbows, release the hands, shake them out. And then one more shoulder stretch. Let's go ahead and bring the arms out once more, but this time the palms are facing forward. We're going to lift up through the chest, gentle tuck of the chin, and then exhale, draw the right arm across the chest, bending at the elbow, and then let the left arm cradle the back of the right arm, upper arm around the elbow, and gently just bring the palm to face forward. And here, take another moment to inhale, then exhale, draw in a little more if you can. The folded elbow towards the center of the chest. Your right shoulder is externally rotating outward. You're feeling that length from the right shoulder to the ear, lengthening through the neck, as well as stretching out through your delts, through your delts, your triceps, and just giving an extra gentle pull inward if that feels good. Hopefully you'll feel that nice long length at the back of the shoulders, at the traps. And breathing deeply here. One more deep inhale. One more deep exhale. Try to relax the right hand. And then we'll release the right elbow, the right folded arm, and bring it back to center. Just let the palm rest down at your side. You can gently wiggle, roll the right shoulder forward and back, and then lifting up through the neck. Give yourself one inhale tall, and then just let the left ear dip towards the left shoulder. Inhale back up, and then we're going to bring both arms back out. Go ahead and exhale. Inhale to extend through the arms once more, palms facing forward. And then this time we draw the left arm over the chest and cradle it with your right hand. Once you get that nice hold there, go ahead and bend the left elbow, palm facing you, and hold there for a moment. Feel that openness at the back of both shoulders. Feel that lengthening from the tailbone all the way through the crown of the head. And then with the next exhale, you can see about gently drawing in the elbow across the chest, a little closer towards the center. See if your shoulders will rotate outwards a little more. Find a little length in the neck, across the tops of the shoulders. Try not to activate the fingers so much. Let them relax. Only use those muscles needed to hold this arm. You feel that external rotation at the shoulders and hopefully the lengthening at the back of the neck. And from that point, we're taking the 3 good deep breaths. And after your very last exhale, go ahead and release the left hand, bringing it on back to rest just gently at the side. And then we can make our way down to Shavasana. Let's go ahead, gently bring the knees upwards. You can tilt the pelvic back a little bit and then start to find long legs coming back to a staff if you need, and then just coming on to the back. Now, however you like to get there, I like to roll on my side once I'm down and onto the back. And just find that nice long length of Shavasana. I'm going to be sitting up again once more, just to mind the time. But as you slowly release one leg and then the other, because we've been sitting, flexing the hips for a while, it may take a little bit of time to sort of untent these hips, to let them unfold. So give yourself that chance to sort of melt into the mat. As we first get down to our back or our belly, it just feels really good to get that good deep support from the heels all the way to the back of the head. Now, if you find the lumbar area, that space right at the lower back is really lifted up and you find a compression that doesn't feel good, go ahead and bring the soles of the feet to the floor and allow your knees to be lifted somewhat. You can always allow the knees to sort of rest inward, knocking inward, if that feels good. You can also bring your blocks well, the other block. But you can always have the blocks underneath your knees too, if that helps. So getting ready for our Shavasana, you're just wanting to be nice and relaxed on the back without any folds, without pointing or flexing your feet, but just letting them naturally roll off to the sides. And then you can think about how the body is transitioning into Shavasana until all you're left with is your breath. Let the belly be soft. Close your eyes. Unfurl the hands if they're in clenched fists. Just take a nice deep breath. When you hear the 3 bells, we'll awaken from Shavasana.
bringing the mind to the body, taking note of sounds outside the room. Gently open the eyes. Notice what you see. Breathe deeply through the nose. Inhaling, exhaling. Notice what you can touch. Notice what's touching you. And then notice if you can taste anything, whether it's this taste of the mouth or something you may have eaten earlier. As you reconnect to the body, bringing yourself to the present, I invite you to wiggle your fingers, toes, making a movement to help awaken the body once more. Feel free to return to an upward sitting position like staff or an easy seated position, one leg out in front of the other. And we'll end our class with a simple breathing exercise and using our hands at the side. So if you're ready, we'll sit up nice and tall, palms facing up, hands to the side. Let's go ahead and inhale, arms up, all the way up towards the top of the head if you can get the palms to touch. And then exhale, hands down, heart center. We'll do a total of 5 of these. Inhale, gather the energy towards the side, bringing it all the way up above the head. Engage the core. Bring the hands down, heart center. 2. Inhale, hands to the side, bringing up the energy above the head. Palms together. Exhale, hands down, heart center. 3. Palms out to the side. Inhale, hands above, gathering energy. Exhale, hands down, heart center. 4. One last time. Hands to the side. Hands up above. Hands down, heart center. Thank you so much for joining us here at the ACC Community Room for Gentle Yoga at 2 p.m. I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.